The following podcast contains adult content. It is not suitable for minors, professional settings, or the faint of heart. Welcome to FOREPLAY Goes South's About Last Night, a reoccurring monthly episode in which I take a story told on the stage last night's live event and release it the very next day.
I will be talking about edge play, but not in a way that will really require a warning. So the story you're about to hear is true, but the names have been changed to protect the not so innocent. Oftentimes we don't have a clue where a particular kink comes from. Other times, like with my knife kink, we can remember the when and the where and how they looked wearing a wonder bra. My friend Red had this wonder bra she liked to wear when she wanted to get a guy's attention, and back then that guy was our friend Jay. Red knew that Jay liked knives because she had seen him playing with them. Although Red never saw Jay playing with breasts, that he liked them too seemed like a safe assumption. It was certainly a safe thing to have assumed about me. Although I liked both knives and breasts, back then I had much more experience with handling blades. I got my first knife when I was just 11, soon learned how to cut and carve. But when you still look like you're 11 in the 8th grade, it's hard enough to get a girl to agree to dance with you out in public, let alone to take her top off in private. So I didn't have my first experience with bare breasts until after my last growth spurt. And yes, all 5'9" of me you see in front of you today is me after a major growth spurt. Going through puberty, my height made less of a growth curve and more of a growth bar chart. The sudden addition of height and the ability to grow muscles and facial hair made dating much easier. So why is I refer to how I got my knife kink as a case of collateral flirting, dare I say damage? Why, if not the primary, couldn't I have at least been the secondary flirting target of this story? It's because the other guy in the area was our friend D. And while Jay looked like a young Ricky Martin, D looked like a young Axl Rose. I was more of a young Frank Zappa or maybe on a good day Trent Reznor. So it's not that I was bad looking, it's just that I wasn't getting pulled up on stage by the lead singer good looking. That happened to D. Nor was I making a guy realize he was gay after having a decidedly not straight dream about him. That happened to Jay. So Jay and D were going out on dates with girls without ever actually asking them out good looking. Me, if I wanted to do the dating, I still had to do the asking. I soon learned a little bit of romance could go a long way. I learned how to take a stick and a knife and carve a flower. So I already knew that knives could be romantic, but I didn't realize just how sexy they could be. And then Red walked into the room wearing a somewhat see-through white V-neck t-shirt over her beloved burgundy wonder bra. And in one, to my teenage mind, devastatingly sexy move, reached into her bra, whipping out and open a lock blade knife. That move took under a minute, but left me with a lifelong kink. Sadly, like so many high school friends, we lost contact after graduation. It wasn't until years later when we reconnected that Red was finally able to learn just how much and how little of an impact her knife learning had made. She learned that I have a kink for cutting, white shirts off of chest, so big impact there. But I had to awkwardly tell her that Jay did not remember the knife flirting. Turns out, wonder bra or not, breasts really weren't his thing. This was awkward for a couple of reasons. One, although the knife flirting failed, something worked, and Jay and Red dated briefly. They even went to prom together. Two, I was the guy who realized he was bi after having a dream about Jay. And three, shortly after Jay and Red broke up and were no longer out kissing in public, I learned that Jay had a little bit extra room in that closet he was still in and had started kissing him in private. So Red and I had somewhat different experiences in high school, but we could agree on a couple of things. One, Jay was a really good kisser. Two, her wonder bra was a wonderful thing. And three, that knives, when used in a safe, sane, and consensual way, can be seriously sexy. Now, I know not everyone's going to hear about a literal edge play story and think, ooh, that sounds like fun, but I think we can all agree that a geeky guy like me is very fortunate to have found such a fun, flirty, knife-wielding, wonder bra-wearing friend like Red back in high school, and then I'm even luckier to have her as a friend again, which just goes to show that while a good friend can be hard to find, a good kinky friend can be even harder to forget.
This episode of FOREPLAY Goes South podcast was recorded and produced by event host and podcast creator Metanoia. For more information about FOREPLAY Goes South, follow us at FOREPLAY GS on Facebook, FetLife, Instagram, and Twitter.